It's K area.
K-pop in your area.
That's right. And we're joined here by Angie.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we're joined here by Angie. Thank you for joining us here on the K Area Podcast. Supermatic, why don't you give the quick rundown for what we've got lined up for the show today?
All right, we've got an exciting show ahead. Of course, we are going to be talking to our very special guest, Angie, in the house. Thank you again for joining us. We'll be playing some of our awesome Do You Know K-pop with Angie as our special contestant. We're going to be doing a Daebak or Not for Taeyeon's new release, and then we've got another wonderful treasure find to share with you all, and that should be it. So, Peter, how about we just jump right into it?
All right, let's get to it.
What's the thing you're obsessed with these days?
K-pop.
What is this, Korean pop music?
The Korean wave?
It's the K-wave, and it's washed over Asia for the last few years.
It's the best thing you've ever seen.
The girls' generation.
A wave of supergroups with infectious hooks.
I'm really impressed. I'm speechless, really.
It's a global phenomenon.
오늘 밤 우리 삐끼 해, yeah. Baby, give me some, give me some, yeah, 함께 나가던 밤과 함께 다 들어왔다면 누구 차례
사슴같이 예쁜 눈 나의 princess 나를 보고 비웃는 게 너무 시크해
모두 날 보래 너 지금부터 잘 지켜봐
It's the K Area Podcast with your host, DJ Peterlo, Supermatic, and Angie. What's going on?
Not much.
So, for me, you've been kind of like an idol. I think Supermatic and I were sort of stands here, and we're so humble that you would even consider joining us for our show. And I've read some of your work before. I've seen what you've written and covered. So for me, it's really fun and exciting.
Well, thank you. It's always great to be part of the K-pop community and hang out with you guys and everyone else. I'm so excited to be here.
Maybe we should just kick it off. If you can just get a little background for our listeners, those who joined us for our first time or are not familiar with your work, what brought you into K-pop, and what you're currently up to.
Sure. So you might see me online. My name's Angie Mills, and I'm the former communications coordinator and main photographer for Kpop stars. But you may have also seen my work, whether it's articles or photos, also on Soompi, All Kpop, and of course, Kpop stars as well. Going even further back into my background, you can also see me in the Beast Beautiful Night music video.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
No kidding.
As one of the extras. That was a lot of fun. And also, I've been a panelist at KCON for the last 3 years, as well as Toronto Kpop Con, and have helped out with a lot of K-pop and Korean events. And more recently have also been featured on Fuse's K-Stop with my good friend Jeff Benjamin, which is a really amazing podcast, by the way. Him and his co-host Tina do such an amazing job, so definitely check it out.
Yeah, and Jeff is also kind of a legend in our eyes. So again, we're all humbled by the other big influencers that you've worked with and been a part of. So that's cool.
Yeah, so that's just a little bit about my background. I've actually been shooting K-pop events, I believe, for 4 years in the New York City area. And I just moved out here to the West Coast to the Bay Area. So excited to see what K-pop the Bay Area brings. As for what got me into K-pop, that's a very long story. I actually got into K-pop back in 2007 with DBSK's Triangle. So I grew up in a gamer family, and I was a really big fan of Final Fantasy.
Yes.
10 is my favorite, by the way. Ooh. Maybe I'll get some haters about that, but that's all right. I love 10. And my friend showed me DBSK, and I was like, man, these guys look like Final Fantasy characters, especially Jejung, who is my bias and is still my bias, although Yoonho has creeped up on that list. So yeah, I've been into K-pop a long time, and unfortunately there wasn't any K-pop where I was from in Pennsylvania. And I moved to New York City and ended up at a Wonder Girls concert. And I saw some people there as press, and I just went over and talked to them. And I was like, hey, I'm really passionate about K-pop. What are you guys doing here? And I got interviewed, and they liked me, so they were like, hey, shoot me your resume. And you could say the rest is history. I've been working in K-pop ever since then.
Wow. So it's simply a matter of just you going up to press and talking to them?
Yeah, and hard work. I don't want to say it's that easy, but
of course not.
It kind of is, you know. Part of it is networking, and part of it is being yourself and being passionate about what you do. Originally, I was supposed to be a VJ for a web series on YouTube, and it didn't work out. But I had a photography background, and I've just been passionate about Korean entertainment and K-pop so much that I just got my hands on whatever I could grab in the New York City area.
Did you have that's really cool?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so, you know, for those listening out there, as long as you're passionate at what you do, I encourage you to just go out there and start off small and do it.
Yeah, that's good advice, really good advice. And I think we're doing that ourselves. Starting off small and doing what we're doing. But I have to ask, as a fan of Final Fantasy and K-pop, have you seen Ivy's, what was it, Sonata in, I'm forgetting the full name of the song. This is Ivy from like 2006 or 2007. Anyway,
I don't know.
You should check it out if you haven't. But like it's funny because they what is it? Final Fantasy Advent Children. Are you familiar with that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So they recreate that an entire fight scene from that movie. And
oh man, yeah. I've never seen that. I mean, Ivy's version of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll have to look into that. Some homework for me.
Yeah. Cool. And I mean, having covered, you know, K-pop for so long, have you noticed any trends or changes since the time you've begun covering it?
Oh man, it's so interesting because it changes so much every year. I don't know how it quite is yet here, but in New York specifically, the rise of Korean hip hop has been tremendous. Korean hip hop shows in New York have really been selling out like immediately, more so than some of the K-pop acts that have been coming to New York City. So it's really been interesting to watch that happen, as well as just the overall familiarity of K-pop among the American market.
Yeah.
You know, some of us have been into K-pop a lot longer than the average K-pop fan, American K-pop fan. And, you know, people just stumble across K-pop now on YouTube and they become passionate fans about it, which I think is really awesome. But there are a lot of new K-pop fans out there, and the rise of Korean hip hop is just insane. And those are like really the two things that I've noticed a lot of more recently.
And when you say like Korean hip hop, is this more from like hip hop artists from Korea, or is this like I don't know, because when I think of like K-hip hop, like I'm not sure if I always put them in the same category as K-pop, you know.
Definitely not, right?
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of K-pop fans go more towards Korean hip hop, taking like for example, liking something like BTS, you know, which has so much hip hop in it, and then going from that, which is considered K-pop, into Show Me the Money. So making that transition into Korean hip hop, and I've seen a lot of that. And the Show Me the Money tours and some of the Korean rappers who have gone to New York City, those shows are a lot of fun as well. It's a totally different vibe. But yeah, it's just interesting how the K-pop fan has transitioned into Korean hip hop as well, and other genres and other parts of Korean entertainment and media and culture as well.
Have you seen the fans like adapt and change as well, like following the different like K-hip hop and like the K-pop scenes? Or
Yeah. Well, one of the things, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but one of the things that I've noticed is that with the popularity of Korean pop music, K-pop, and Korean hip hop, we've been getting so many more shows here in America. And a few years ago, when I first started attending K-pop concerts, I saw the same fans go to every single show. It didn't matter if it was hip hop or K-pop. They just wanted to be there because it was Korean music, which is pretty sweet. But because K-pop concerts can be so expensive, I've really seen fans more recently pick and choose wisely which concerts they want to go to. And it's, it's a pro and a con. The fact that we're getting more concerts here is amazing, but maybe not so amazing for the average fan's budget.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's also been that trend as well.
I mean, do you think we're maybe even becoming oversaturated in the U.S. market if we're not always able to promise that same turnout?
That's a good question. I'm not quite sure, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that the organizers really understand the market, and they've already adjusted to areas that have been oversaturated and haven't been getting enough.
Yeah.
So, for example, LA always gets all the Korean music concerts, but in the more recent years, New York hasn't been getting as many as Chicago and Texas, which previously it was kind of like always LA and New York, but now it's like LA, Chicago, somewhere in Texas, and then New York isn't always on that list. And so I think the organizers are figuring out which markets have become oversaturated and which ones could use more music.
Yeah.
Which is really neat and awesome that they're growing along with the fans.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that with the CL tour right now, right? I mean, like, I'm surprised by all the different cities that she's going to, and like more props for her. For
definitely.
So going back to the fans, I mean, sometimes I feel like, when I went to the CL concert, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun, but I felt at times like I was the only adult in the room. I mean, do you feel like the K-pop, like, fan group or the K-pop stan or fan is growing with the industry, or do you think it's something that people do grow out of?
I've seen both cases.
Yeah.
I've been with K-pop for a long time, and I've noticed that other fans that are in my age group are still with K-pop.
Yeah.
But I noticed that the fans that were teenagers 4 years ago are no longer in K-pop anymore. And so, but they've been replaced with other young people, teenagers, young 20-year-olds. And so it's a mix, honestly. And I've been fortunate to have a lot of friends that have been with me on this K-pop journey for a long time and are still here. But yeah, it's ever changing. K-pop isn't any different than other genres where you have people staying with it and people leaving constantly.
That's so true. Yeah. I don't want to monopolize this, Matt. Did you have further questions? I'm
in amazement just listening to everything.
Okay.
You guys are too sweet. Thanks.
I guess maybe I had other questions for you as a professional. So when you're like trying to figure out like, okay, what sort of like stories you want to cover, like what makes or breaks like a story that you're interested in writing, covering, or attending, or what fits that criteria for you?
For me, I like to cover anything that I can attend. And that is just because I love Korean music. No matter the group or the style, as long as it's music, I want to get out there and cover it. Sometimes I can't due to other obligations, adulting.
Hashtag adulting, man.
And then there are other times where I just do crazy things, like I did a road trip from Philadelphia to San Francisco in 2 weeks, and I stopped in Chicago and covered the Show Me the Money tour because awesome. I love the Show Me the Money rappers. So cool. Yeah, and it was just amazing. So it's a mixture of everything. unfortunately, there are also times where I really want to cover concerts and I can't because there's no press or there's limited press. And on the professional side, something that I've been seeing a little bit more frequently than when I started is that there's less press opportunities than there was in the past because now everyone knows K-pop and it doesn't necessarily need as much coverage as it used to. And maybe not that exactly, but more American companies are interested in covering K-pop. And so blogs and smaller news websites that used to get access as press are no longer able to get press because larger American news companies want to cover the concerts.
Well, that's a hard trade-off, right? I mean, at the same time, you want it to become more mainstream. At least I want it to become more mainstream. Like, I'm not one of those like indie kids who's like, no, it's popular. I can't like it by nature now. But it is harder for the people who really brought it here and really helped cultivate it, right? Make it a thing. So. Yeah, that is a hard trade-off.
Yeah, and obviously, that's just the way things are. I'm not bitter about it or anything.
Yeah.
And I totally understand the organizer's point of view and the Korean media management point of view as well. There's only so much press that you can do, and that's the truth about the industry. So, it's a good mixture. Also, a lot of people you'll see writers and photographers freelance for multiple companies, and that's something that I'm currently transitioning into as well, as I used to be solely with one company, and now I'm transitioning to more writing and continuing photography and looking for more opportunities. And sometimes certain outlets will get press with one but not the other, and so it's a lot of juggling and a lot of informing yourself and a lot of putting yourself out there as well.
Yeah, it's so funny because my day job is in public relations. And so usually when I'm looking at like press that I want to bring out to the event, it's like, in my case, it's usually like, yeah, let's bring them all.
Yeah,
right. I mean, sometimes we have to tear it out in terms of like, oh, we only have this much time with this person, so we're only going to give interviews to like,
right, of course,
reach. But yeah, it's like usually, at least from my end, from the PR side, it's like we're always like more the merrier, the more we can squeeze in here.
And you have to remember that Korean culture is a bit different than American culture. And they like to have a lot more control of their artists. And there's various aspects to that, which I'm not sure how much I can touch on or not.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you in trouble, but I respect what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, there is a difference too. They just want to make sure that their artists are receiving the best coverage, the best photos, the best articles, getting with companies that are going to have the most hits. Yeah. And you can't blame them, it's business.
Oh yeah.
And so honestly, if I don't get to go as press, I mean, usually I go as press, like I'd say 99% of the time I go as press, but that 1% that I haven't been at a concert for press, I've just gotten to sit there and enjoy the concert, instead of
not work it. So to speak. Yeah.
Still a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, right. So I'm just happy to be in this industry, and whether I'm working it as press or just there to enjoy it and have a good time, I'm happy either way.
Yeah. Cool.
That's I guess that's kind of like a blessing in disguise, because even if you're not there for work, I mean, you still get to just enjoy what it is that you love and what you're passionate about. So, I mean, it's kind of a win-win situation, right?
Right, exactly, definitely. And it's kind of hard to fangirl and jump up and down when you're trying to write notes or take pictures. And if you look at my earlier work, it's actually I have a lot more blurry photos because I was shaking because I was like, oh my gosh, like look at these K-pop idols in front of me, and I just was like, having fangirl moments, and it took me a while to overcome that. So yeah.
When it comes to like good event photography or just photography for K-pop in general, I mean, what do you look for? What do you try to craft and capture in your coverage?
What's great about K-pop in America is that these groups, they travel a lot.
Yeah.
And you really see a lot of groups come here for the first time. They're in New York City for the first time. They're in LA for the first time. And even if they're not there for the first time, they have this excitement that's so genuine. about being in the United States. It's kind of like for them, like, hey, we've made it, you know, like we're performing in New York City.
Yeah.
And I try to capture those moments where you can really see like the intensity or like the joy in their faces. And one of my favorite moments ever was when BAP, I believe it was their first time here. They were in Times Square at, I think it's still the MTV studios. And they had an interview outside, and there was just so many fans surrounding them. And Jungkook just looks up and he looks around at all the lights, and he looked like he was about to cry, like tears of happiness. And like those kind of moments like really, you know, make my job fun. And that's kind of what I capture, what I try to capture. At least it's very difficult. More recently, Eric Nam was on the red carpet, I believe it was in New York, and he did this jump in the air, and he's like, I'm gonna make all you photographers angry right now by moving too much. Jump. And I actually captured the jump.
Oh, nice.
So that wasn't making you angry. That was making you.
Yeah, I was excited because luckily, you know, sometimes it's skill, sometimes it's luck. You know, as a photographer, sometimes you look down for a second and then you miss the jump, or you know. So I try to capture those unique and fun and exciting moments. And I like to say that I have like a very fan perspective when I shoot, because I am a fan. And I've heard a lot of great things from fans, like, thank you for getting these close-ups of, you know, my oppa, you know, looking like this. And so that makes me happy. But I'm a fan too, and I'm just trying to capture the excitement in the group's eyes and the interactions and the energy that's in the room at that time.
I really respect that, because in that way you also have a connection with the people who are viewing your work, because it's almost kind of like you're taking it from their perspective along with your own as a professional, right?
Yeah, definitely. But it can be tough because it's hard not to shoot your bias more than the other ones.
I'd imagine so.
It's really, really hard. And I'm learning that as I go along. Like, I started counting how many times I put photos of each person in the group, because I'm like, oh, bias, click, 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 not bias. Oh, cute, click, click. Okay, bias, click, click, click. So I'm learning those things as I go along.
Like your favorite fan groups, and we can go into, do you know Kpop or?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So favorites, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm a terrible Kpop fan. I'd like to say that I've stuck with like the same groups for as many years I've been K-pop, but I bounce around a lot.
Don't worry, that happens, especially these days.
It's hard not to. But I'm a really big fan of BTS, EXO, and VIX.
Ooh.
Yeah, and for girl groups, I really love Red Velvet. And who else do I love? Not a girl group, but I really love IU a lot.
Yeah.
IU's my favorite. She's like my woman crush Wednesday, like every Wednesday. Like, I love IU so much. So those are just my favorites right now.
Well, those are good picks.
Yeah, definitely good choices.
I think, you know, especially those guy groups, they're on the rise right now. And IU, I mean, we know her for her personality, her charm, and as well as her amazing vocal range. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate talent, whether it's in dancing or music. And I say that, but sometimes my bias doesn't show that.
Well, what makes a bias? Is it their visual qualities?
It's a mix. It's a good mix. I have weird things that I pick out about, certain, members and groups. I'll tell you one quirk.
Okay.
So one of my biases is N from VIX.
Oh.
Yay, N. And the reason why I like him so much is because he has a really long neck, and when he moves it, he reminds me of a turtle eating.
That's what you look for. Like, does this idol look like a turtle? Nope. Can't like this group anymore. Can't like this idol.
So, N's my only turtle. But just little quirks like that like remind me of something else. Like, and I've told a few of my friends that, and they're like, I would have never thought of N as a turtle, like maybe like a giraffe because of his long neck. But now that you say turtle, I totally see it. And I'm a big animal lover. So if they do something like that or look kind of animalish in a cute way, then they most likely will be my bias.
Okay. Well, that's definitely a unique perspective on what makes or breaks a bias.
Although I bias flip flop a lot as well. So Leo.
Okay. Yeah, for the longest time, the only members of VIX that I knew were Leo and Ravi because they were the most out there. And then I got familiar with them thanks to a friend who loves VIX. So I can picture an N with the long neck when you talk about it now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, thank you, Angie Mills, for joining us, for introducing yourself and sharing your industry experience, perspectives with us and our listeners. So I think with that, we'll go into If You Know K-Pop.
Oh, no.
Now the fun begins.
I just want to warn you guys that I always did poorly on tests at school. So please, fans out there, don't hate me if I get some questions wrong.
Okay. I think we have like at least one softball question in there. Is that right, Supermatic? So we're not going to try to shame you here, but...
And we are back with K Area, and we're going to jump right into our next segment. Again, thank you so much, Angie, for joining us.
No problem, and I'm scared, but I'm ready.
Yeah, well, I hope you don't mind that we're about to put you on the hot seat for Do You Know K-Pop?
It's something I think we're going to ask all our special guests to do going forward.
Well, it's funny enough that Peter asked if there was a softball question in here. I think my very first question is very easily softball, considering that it concerns one of your favorite groups.
Oh, no.
So this first question that I actually came up with, and I'll admit that I kind of chose it just because they're a really popular group right now. They might be considered on top of K-pop as far as boy groups go. Are you able to name all 7 members of BTS?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Those are my babies. So let me see if it's always harder naming than typing. I'm like so used to being in front of the computer all day. Right. So let's start with my bias, Jin.
Nice.
My second bias, Jungkook.
Ooh, Cookie.
Yeah, I love Cookie. And then let's go with my 3 rotating bias, V, Rat Monster, Suga.
Ooh, nice.
And then we have Jimin and J-Hope. And I have a lot of love for them as well.
Nice. All right, very good job. Well, that's 1 point so far. Ding, ding, ding.
Are you a general in this army?
Oh, I wouldn't necessarily call myself a general.
This is like such dumb dad joke. Yeah, okay. So let's move on. Next question.
All right. So we have been experiencing an interesting year with the girl group known as IOI, and unfortunately they are only a couple of months away from officially disbanding.
I know.
Last week they had their last official performance as a group.
Yes.
So with IOI and all the members seeking new adventures after IOI ends, I'm just curious if you happen to know a little background about which one of them was actually a former JYP trainee.
Oh.
And I will lay out some choices for you.
Okay, good.
Is it A, Chungha, B, Somi, C, Mina, or D, Jikwang? Again, the question is which of them is a former JYP trainee?
Oh, I follow IOI's music, but I'm not too familiar with all the members. However, I do remember reading that one of them was a former JYP trainee, and I just can't remember which one it was. But I do have a guess anyway, okay. So let's go for it. D.
Jikwang?
Yes.
Locked in, final answer?
You said, I thought you were telling me it's wrong. Oh, yeah, locked in.
And the result, drum roll.
Yeah, I figured.
It's actually A, Chungha.
That was going to be my second guess. Yes. I was flip-flop,
of course,
but before that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
It's okay. All right. So far, 1 out of 2, but that's okay. You're still at a 50-50 ratio. Going even. So I kind of preluded this earlier. We are going to be doing a Daebak or Not on Taeyeon's new release.
Yeah.
So her MV for her new song 1111, a lot of fans have taken notice that she seemed to get a new tattoo on her right arm. Would you happen to know what that tattoo says? The choices are A, clarity, B, serenity, C, infinity, or D, Tiffany.
Oh my gosh. It would be great if she did have a tattoo that said Tiffany.
Just in case she forgets. Like, which member of SNSD am I in?
Who's my BFF?
Right.
I don't know. Let's see. Clarity, serenity, and infinity were the other three choices.
Yes.
I'm just going to guess that it's serenity. And I don't remember what letter that was.
Okay, that was choice B. So you're locking in B.
I'm locking in B. I don't like to change my answer once I pick something.
That's a good choice,
And drum roll, ding, 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 ding.
Yes, serenity.
So it's actually a brand new tattoo that she got somewhere around the time before she shot the MV for 1111. And the reasoning behind serenity is that it actually has to do with her name, because Taeyeon in Korean roughly translates to a calm mind. So calmness, serenity goes hand in hand.
I'm learning a lot through these K-pops. I'm
it's funny because I didn't know, but I have been a Girls' Generation fan for a really long time, and I feel like I know Taeyeon, so I could feel that it was Serenity, even though I wasn't sure.
You've actually earned some just bonus brownie points with me because Taeyeon's my ultimate bias.
Oh, I mean, how could she not be?
So, all right. Well, let's just go ahead and dive right into the next question. So, SHINee are considered like some of the kings of K-pop.
Of course.
Would you happen to know what the meaning of their name SHINee actually is? Here are your choices. A, there actually is no meaning. B, the light of the world. C, one who receives the light. Or D, the five gods of the East.
Oh man, I'm gonna disappoint so many K-pop fans out there.
Well, there's two E's in that.
Yeah.
Name, right? I mean, I'm wondering if that's symbolic or something. Do they capitalize their name in different ways?
So the stylization of it actually is SHIN is capitalized and then two E's are lowercase.
Right.
If that's any clue.
Yes.
It's like one of those things that K-pop has like so much like meaningless background information to their names. Love VIX, but VIX is one of them. And it's just like, okay, that's nice. I'll never remember that. And
just for those who don't know, what is that background behind VIX?
VIX actually stands for something that I forget. But it's like really a far stretch with that double X.
Oh.
Yeah.
So long as it's not triple X. I think I mean different. Yeah.
It's like voices. Oh my gosh.
Obviously, this left a very strong impression.
Yeah. I try not to think about those things, honestly. I'm just going to go with A, that SHINee has no meaning.
Okay.
Locking it down. That's it.
Drum roll. SHINee actually stands for one who receives the light. So,
oh, man. I'm sorry.
I actually don't remember, but they're
like a very well-polished surface, or...
Well, it's just like the whole idea and concept is that SHINee with their music and like them overall just as being idols, like they are the light and they're giving it to their fans because their fans give them love, so they do their best to be the light in their fans' lives. Right.
Yeah, I definitely have heard something like that before. And I'm sorry to everyone out there who I've disappointed today. Please still love me.
It's okay. I actually know quite a few SHINee fans who either forgot or they never knew what SHINee actually meant. They just are into the group and all the members, but they didn't really take much time to learn what the meaning of SHINee is.
Right, yeah, and that's
so you are not
kind
alone.
Of fan I am, yeah.
All right. So moving on to our next question, actually. Which former member of Beast was a YG trainee and originally was slated to be part of Big Bang?
Oh, Hyunsung, I miss you.
I didn't even lay out the question. She knew. Shut me down and offering the option. She knew it.
Every day a shock.
Right? Well, I mean, needless to say, you got that one right. So
yeah, Beast is another group that I really, really love. And,
okay.
Yeah. So miss you.
Well, for those who didn't know, Hyunsung easily could have been a member of Big Bang before he ended up joining Beast.
or a backup dancer, right? Like with Troublemaker.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes, that's Hyunsung. Yeah.
Okay, these last couple of questions I actually had had to do a little digging for because Peter told me to maybe try and make something a little more difficult.
You're the only person we can do this with, because we're all like a little more amateur in our understanding of K-pop.
So this first question actually has to do with one of the early K-pop groups from the 1990s, One Time. Which former member of One Time went on to become a host of his very own radio show?
Danny.
Okay. Wow, she showed me down again. Wow, 2 for 2 straight.
I'm sorry, I'm so eager.
That's okay. We're enjoying it. Makes our job easy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I thought these were going to be harder, but evidently not.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Okay. Danny has also hosted the red carpet for KCON as well. So
I should have known this. That she's covered.
But I do actually like Danny from LA, the show as well.
One of my favorites as well. So. All right. Well, our very last question then, I guess, and we'll see whether or not this will be a curveball for Angie here. You're actually doing pretty well. That was our 7th question, and you are so far 4 over 3. You've got 4 of them right. So this last question, we'll see if you can at least break even. One of the very early K-pop groups was H.O.T. Hot.
Yes.
What does H.O.T. stand for? Is it A, High on Top, B, High Five of Teenagers, C, Hype of Teenagers, or D, Hype on Top?
This is exactly what I was talking about with the shiny name. Like, there's a lot of groups that's like, you just could be H.O.T. or Hot, but you have like this deep meaning that is like no one remembers. Sorry, H.O.T. You guys are classics and awesome. But you made all those answers so similar to each other that like now I'm like blanking on what it is. Could you repeat them, please?
Okay, so the choices one more time. A, High on Top, B, High Five of Teenagers, C, Hype of Teenagers, or D, Hype on Top?
A, final answer.
High on Top?
Yes.
Drum roll. Unfortunately, that is wrong.
Is it Hype?
It's actually High Five of Teenagers.
That was my...
High Five.
Man.
And I actually looked into this, and considering that this was back in the 1990s, I actually give credit to their management for the reason why they came up with the name. The whole concept behind High Five of Teenagers is that since they were one of the groups leading the charge to modernize K-pop as we know it, especially back in the 1990s, they knew that teenagers were probably going to be the main consumer of this like K-pop and overall pop brand.
Yeah.
So the idea behind High Five of Teenagers is that this is the group where they connect with teens. Like literally, you can high five them.
Yeah.
This is the gap between you guys.
That's an interesting concept because you hear about like AKB. It's supposed to be like, sorry, another J-pop reference, but it's like, you know, the idols that you can meet. But this is ones. These are idols who you can high five.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that where the high touch came from at concerts?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have to look into that. More journalism work.
Yeah.
So how did Angie do on our quiz?
Well, she went. She actually broke even. She had a chance to go 5 and 3, but she went 4 and 4, 4 right and 4 wrong. But that is not too bad.
And,
I mean,
and
50,
admittedly
50.
here we put some pretty hard questions. We brought our best to try to stump you, Angie. So.
I was pleasantly surprised though. You shut me down before I even offered you options on 2 questions, so I respect that.
Well, thank you. Boy groups are definitely my strong point.
For sure. Well, now we know that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for playing along with our Do You Know K-Pop segment, Angie. You were a very fun and very pleasurable contestant.
Well, thank you. I'll study hard for the next one next time.
Love to have you play again. I'll try to come up with even harder questions.
Okay. All right. And if you're listening and playing along, we're curious to hear how you guys did. I think we'll just do a tweet.
Yeah, like feel free to tweet us and let us know how you did if you played along.
Yeah. So again, I'm at DJ Peter Lowe, Supermatic.
Yes, Supermatic with an O.
And Angie, where can people find you on Twitter?
Angie Valerie, Twitter, Instagram, all the same.
Great.
That's the social media plugs. There you go.
All right. So yeah, let us know how you did on this episode of Do You Know K-Pop? So up next, it's Daebak or Not, and this week we're taking a look at Taeyeon. Am I pronouncing that guys right? Taeyeon?
You got it.
Okay, Taeyeon. And her song 11 out of 11 or 11:11?
I think it's just simply 11:11.
11:11. There you go.
모든 게 자리를 찾아서 떠나가고 넌 내 모든 걸 갖고서 떠나도 내 맘은 시계 속에 두 바늘처럼 같은 곳을 두고 맴돌기만 해
So for Daebak or Not, if you're just tuning in for the first time, we look at a new release any given episode and we rate it in several criteria. So first we look at the audio score, what we thought of the sound, what we thought of the music, and we give that a 1 to 5 score, 5 being highest, 1 being lowest.
And then we also take a look at the concept, what we thought of the music video, the direction of the song, like whether or not there's any choreography, just the overall theme, what the song and video is trying to convey, and we give it a score on a 1 to 5 scale for that as well.
Okay. And lastly, we also wrap it up with Daebak or Not, just our overall score, our overall thought. Was it Daebak or is it not? All right, so we'll kick it off. Angie, what are your thoughts for it? Let's start with the audio. So what did you think of the audio for Taeyeon's 11:11?
Well, before we go into the audio, I want to say that this song really should have been released on 11/11. Like, it was released in November. Like, they just should have posted it, waited a few more days, and it could have been 11/11 on 11/11. SM missed opportunity there, but that's all right. So I usually don't like this style of music, honestly. I'm not a big acoustic ballad fan. I like a lot of music that has a lot of energy, and if it doesn't have a lot of energy, I like really sad, heartbreaking songs. And that is kind of where this falls for me. So although I usually don't like acoustic ballads, I really enjoy the audio of this song. Honestly, it's musically super simple. The guitar is simple. The na-na-nas are simple. It's just a very simple, sweet, and sad song. But what I think really makes it special is Taeyeon's voice.
Yeah.
She really kind of captures the sadness and in this song. And it really makes me wonder who broke Taeyeon's heart.
Right?
Like, she has it down so perfectly, that sadness in her voice. Like, you could definitely feel something there.
Was she, I'm trying to remember, I'm like going through all her other music videos in my head. Was she broken up with or was she like dumped by any of the other guys that she was with in the other music videos? I don't think so, right?
As of recently, I don't think so. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Angie, go on.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, this kind of reminds me more of like IU's style. IU's lyrics, and that's why I like it so much. But Taeyeon, it definitely has Taeyeon's flavor, her voice, and she brings so much to the song. And so I really love it. For me, when music is sad, sometimes, and this song is sad, if you look up the lyrics, it is clearly talking about a breakup, and you can see that in the music video as well. For anyone that has ever been sad or about a breakup specifically, a lot of times you just kind of like get stuck in the same thought process. And the lyrics in the song are really beautiful because it addresses that. There is a part where she's like, oh, I keep lingering in the same place. And it just like, you can really feel her sing out this song, even if you don't understand the lyrics. And so I really like that about the song. And I think she has like the best na-na-na-na-nas for a sad K-pop song ever.
Na-na-nas in K-pop. This is at the top of the list.
They should really make it like a challenge, how well of a K-pop artist you are, how good of a singer you are. We're gonna have you sing, just sing na na na, and let's see if we feel what you feel, and if the audience does, then you've passed the test.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you guys think about it? The audio.
What would you give it in terms of score?
Oh, should I give it the score?
Yeah, for audio.
Okay, so audio for me is a 5. Honestly, I've had this. I know it's really high. So I didn't think I would like this song as much as I do. But it just gets stuck in my head, and I'm a happy person, and it makes me feel sad out of nowhere, even though nothing's happened to me. And to me, that's what good music does.
Yeah.
Is it puts you in a place that you wouldn't typically be in. So it's a 5 for me.
It hurts so good, you know.
Yeah, right.
It's one of these things where you want to feel those raw emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Supermatic.
Okay, so audio for me, I am hooked in from the first note from Taeyeon, as well as like that first guitar strum. It's very memorable to me. It's like the moment I hear that guitar strum, I'm like, oh, that's 11:11. And like, even if that's not the correct time.
Sure.
And then the thing for me is that Taeyeon is very known for more like power ballads, as you alluded to, Angie. It's like she's known for belting out high notes and giving a lot more like raw energy and just so much more like borderline aggressive passion in whatever it is that she's singing about. Definitely. Whether it's just empowerment like her song I, or even if she's singing about a breakup, or just even if it's a sad song like what was her last hit, Rain, I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was necessarily a sad song, but this was very surprising to me, and it was a pleasant surprise that it's a very smooth and soulful sound as opposed to what she's known for from Taeyeon. Like as you touched on, it's just her voice throughout this entire song kind of complements like the music itself. It's a more down-tempo style, and it focuses more on just the rhythm of the song instead. Like, it's mainly a guitar, but then when we get to the chorus, you hear that keyboard like accompanying Taeyeon's na-na-nas. And it just it really harmonizes well. And the funny thing for me, I thought about it, if I were to listen to an instrumental of this, I feel like anyone in general would probably think, oh, this is more like a happy song, you know? This is like a nice, simple, happy melody. It's catchy. But then if you listen to Taeyeon sing, even if you don't understand the language or what she's saying, like her voice and the way that she conveys it, you can tell, you feel it. It's kind of more like a sad song, a sad message. Yeah. And like you can almost pretty much are able to understand that she's probably singing about a breakup, or like as we've
without knowing the lyrics.
Yeah, as we've agreed upon, it's like it's clear that she probably was in a relationship and then now she's not, and she's stuck in that state of limbo. So with all of that considered, I actually gave the audio score a 4, only because like I may be an ultimate bias of Taeyeon, but the thing is I like, as much as I really enjoyed this, and I'll admit I'll have the song on repeat, I'll be jamming to it, I guess I just would have preferred something more Taeyeon-esque, which is more songs like I or Y. It's just like what she does best, at least like in my opinion, which is more of that like powerful ballads. Like she can still convey her soul and her emotions, but I love it when she goes for it more.
Yeah. Well, this was more of a subtle touch, right?
Very subtle.
Yeah. All right. Shall I go next?
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
the only one left. Okay. So it's funny what you were saying about the instrumental, right? Because actually, funny you say that. There's actually an instrumental with the technical term. I think it's EP or what is it, the single or whatever. So you can. Before coming in today to record this, I was listening just to the instrumental.
Oh wow!
And it's like what you guys were saying, that like, okay, this is about feeling that raw emotion from the vocal, and I like how it's a very nice steady build up from the instrumental harmony, and as is the case with most pop songs, it doesn't stand up by itself, but I can still detect some of that emotional tension. I think just from the instrumental itself. And I think maybe the other thing I listened to as a DJ is just like, oh, well, how are the frequencies in the song? And I was listening to this with my DJ headphones, and I was like, well, okay, it's got really nice lows with the kicks. The kicks actually, it's a very instrumental song, but the kicks are more of that electronic sound. And then there's even moments where you have a, I don't know how I can explain this in pedestrian terms, but like they take the audio of the guitar strum and they reverse it.
Oh, do they?
So they have, it's like the sort of like the reverse sound, like how like a guitar strum, it'll fade out, but there's a couple times where it goes in the opposite direction.
Oh wow!
So I mean, these are small things that you notice when you listen to the instrumental, but on the whole though, like to me it sounds like something that I might hear as much in Nora Jones.
Right.
But I think sonically this isn't really my thing. So
you've made it very clear in the past you're not exactly into this kind of style.
I am
not
the
an
lowest
acoustic or
brow
ballad person.
Yeah. When it comes to like, analyzing or liking pop music, I like the really cheesy lowbrow stuff. So I'm gonna give it a 3, guys. I think it was good. Production value was very high. I definitely get this emotional tension and distress that we get from the vocal, the acapella. But on the whole, I do like her other stuff more. Like I think what's gonna remain with me is her, her why, and I mean the songs that you think of when you see sunsets, sunsets and rainbows. And this is not a sunset or rainbow song. This is inside, wrapped up in your blanket, eating ice cream,
drinking wine.
Yes, yeah. This is a song for those times, and well, that's good, and you need a place for that. Again, Hurt So Good, right? Like this is why we watch drama.
Yeah,
but like. It's not my flavor. I'm not feeling it, so it's a 3 for me. Again, very good, but not wholly my thing.
All right.
Okay, so shall we take it to concept?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Angie, I'll segue that to you.
Talking about concept, what I really like about this, starting with the title, is that it's called 1111. Mm-hmm. I'm really superstitious, and 1111 is right up my alley. And so 1111, for those who might not know, is when you make a wish, and so this is a sad song, but it's also kind of a wishful song. She also has the line where it's like, I believe I'll get over you. Yeah. So there is a bit of hope, a glimmer of hope there in the song and in the lyrics and in the music. So I really like how they incorporated 1111 into the song and also into the music video, because at the end, in the beginning, we can see the clock. Yeah. And then it's like 11:07, 11:08, 11:10, 11:11, and then it ends. And so that concept overall was kind of cool. I appreciate superstitious things in music videos, especially in K-pop. So I liked that a lot. The music video itself, I don't want to say it kind of matches the song, because I just gave the song a 5. Well, the audio of the song 5. It's a little bit boring overall. I shouldn't say boring, but not uneventful. Yeah. Although there are a few parts in the music video where it's just like, what is going on? Yeah. Like, they're a normal couple, there's good, there's bad, and then all of a sudden her bed is in the middle of a beach. Like, what?
Well, that's how you know you're watching a K-pop music video. So.
It's just like, okay, I understand Taeyeon's absolutely gorgeous on the beach. You go to the beach to think. Okay, I get it, but it was kind of useless for me in this music video. And at the end, she has like a huge temper tantrum. Yeah. And she just throws the dinner plate like off the table, and that's the end of the video. Like, what does it mean? Is it just like she tried, she contemplated at the beach, and now it's over? I'm throwing this dish on the floor. It's over. I feel like they could have really done so much more with the concept of the music video, and really taken it to another place. And although I love the song a lot and I like the music video, I can't say it's that interesting. I actually have been watching the lyric music video a lot more than the actual music video. And the acoustic music video that they just came out with is cool too, but that's just because Taeyeon is beautiful and captivating, and so how could you not want to watch her?
So she's a K-pop idol.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I just need to say, sorry, this is a bit off topic, but she's absolutely gorgeous in person. I've seen her 3 or 4 times in person, and her skin just like shines. She's absolutely flawless. I love her. Even the categories.
K-Con this year.
Right. But yeah, so for overall concept, I'm gonna give this a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
Shall I go?
Yeah, go ahead. Take it away,
Okay.
Supermatic.
All right. So for me, the concept, first off, one thing that I noticed right away, which really stuck out to me and that I admired, throughout the music video, there's this constant shifting between like lights and then shadows. It's like it's going from light to dark. It shifts between this bright and like hopeful, wishful environment, as you touched on, Angie, to like the darker parts where it's like, oh yeah, there's like dissonance in the relationship, or she's by herself, and that's when like she's alone in the dark and stuff. It's like morning and night, like day and night, the differences between that.
Yeah.
It's very thematic of the changing of the seasons, and it feels like it conveys how love and relationships are just as susceptible to change as the seasons are to change, like with the weather and everything. There's a simplistic story in the video. I mean, it's clear that they were a couple and then now they're not, and like this is a breakup song, and Taeyeon's kind of like stuck in that limbo post-relationship. She's not sure what to do. She's not sure where she is mentally, physically, just overall. And for me, I mean, this might also just be my personal bias speaking, but the whole time I was watching the video, it's just like, along with listening to the song, I felt like I wanted to hug Taeyeon and be like, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. That said, I have to admit that the story is not explicitly clear to me, because I was left kind of wondering still, like, what happened. Like, it's not made clear what happened in terms of this relationship, and it leaves the viewers to guess what happened. It leaves a little to be desired for my taste. And as you alluded to, there are random moments like towards the end when she just decides to sweep everything off the table. And I guess what was a fit of rage at her then boyfriend. And the funny thing is, like, his response to that is like he just looks at her and it's like, oh, did you say something? and then like going along with how it leaves a little to the imagination, or like you're not really sure what's going on. Right after she does that, like the end of the video, we see that like her chair is floating backwards. She's going out the door, but she's still like in her seat. And like it's as if she went from having breakfast to being out in the dark at night by herself.
Oh, poor Taeyeon.
So yeah, I couldn't help but wonder if that alludes to the fact that even though she's wishful, she's still kind of stuck in that place. Admittedly, I kind of wish that they went a little further with the music video. So I'm with you in that camp, Angie.
Yeah.
I feel like there was so much more potential, especially for the content of what the lyrics are in the song and what Taeyeon's singing about. So with all of that considered, I actually gave the concept a 3.5, just a little nicer than you were. Only because there were parts of it that I did like, that I highlighted, such as the clever, smaller, subtle things I did, like the light and shadows themes and all that. But yeah, my overall score for the concept is a 3.5.
That's pretty good. So I feel like maybe this is just a recurring theme for me and how I analyze K-pop music videos, but I'm beginning to feel like I analyze it based off of the Instagram filter it's inspired by. And so this latest one, it's like I should really remember the names of the different Instagram filters, but like her other songs were much more a brighter color, you know, and I think more saturated as well. Mm-hmm. And this one, it's more the light, you know, shaded browns. And when I look at the color scheme overall, it's like I feel like I'm in an advertisement for Free People.
Oh my God, yes.
It's like, oh, what is she wearing? It's like, oh, I can see that being fall collection, you know, 2016. So I'm right there with you guys. I think we're all kind of on the same page on this one in terms of like, well, it's not as visually dynamic, I think, as stuff that we've seen from her in the past. And to a certain extent, it almost feels like they're saving budget. And there's a lot of non sequiturs here. I mean, we've got a lot of interior shots of just the couple together and then random beach scene. But maybe SM just had a very limited sunscreen budget. So they're just trying to save on what they give. So I think overall, guys, I'm just going to give it a 2.5. So I wasn't a fan. I'm not going to remember it for the music video. What I will remember it by is the high production of the audio and how much it sounds like a Nora Jones song. So yeah, I'll just cut it there. Daebak or not? Angie, take it away.
Daebak.
Well, probably to be expected, but I gave it a Daebak. I mean, it's Taeyeon. I'm a sucker for ballads, and right now it just seems to be the season of like ballads and acoustic melodies overall. So, yeah.
All right, and not Daebak for me. I'm sorry, guys.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm the one who will be very brutally honest, I guess, in how I feel about this. But yeah, that's it for Daebak or not for this week. That was Taeyeon in her song 11 out of 11. I was reminded of who is it? 2 p.m. 10 out of 10. But yeah, no, this is just 11 11. It's not 11 out of 10. So. So, I thought this would be a fun segment. I sort of discovered this song by accident, but we found another wonderful treasure find. The song is Norazo and Na Ni Pal Jaya, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not. Koreans, please correct me on how to say it correctly. But I think a good way to describe it is how it intros. So the lyrics translated into English are, listen to this song. And become rich. You will love this song. You will want to listen to this song repeatedly. This energetic song will make you rich. You will want to share this song with everyone you know. And you will want to download this song from all the music sites. The reason cannot be explained, but the amount of times you listen to this song will equal the amount of riches you will receive. You are very happy. Listening to this song before going to sleep will offer you a refreshing and energetic morning. Your life will hit the jackpot. And then it goes into the song. So, yeah, when I saw this the first time, like, my head nearly exploded because I think I like discovered, you know, the meaning to like life, the universe, and everything when I saw this video. I think enough with that intro. I'll open it up to what you guys thought of this wonderful treasure find.
I guess I'll go ahead and go first because I just have to say it was hard for me to watch this music video. Admittedly, it actually took a couple of tries to sit through the whole thing and not look away. It's very bright and vibrant. It honestly, as it probably suggested, it felt like I was experiencing what's the thing, like hypnotism almost, or like, or I'm not sure what it's called, but from the very first listen, I mean, I was lucky enough to watch it with the captions on, so I was able to see the English translation of what was being said. Mm-hmm. And my first thought was, did I walk into one of those guru sessions where you're like trying to gain clarity in your life and like you need, you're trying to find meaning?
That's how they're trying to intro it, right? Some of those intro lyrics. It's like, you know, just play this and it will solve all your life's problems. And we even begin to see it. I think that's how it's being pitched. It's trying to be deliberately cheesy. You've got this guy sort of like, you know, preaching, right, to all these ajumas who are like looking to buy into this pyramid scheme of this religion. So.
And that being said, like it's really funny to me because it intros with that like almost kind of hypnotic I don't know what they call it, like opening welcome, I guess, because like as a listener, it's welcoming you into the world of this song. But then I watched the music video, and the funny thing to me is it's harder for me to remember what the song sounded like as opposed to seeing the imagery of the video. Because there's one thing that we know about K-pop, especially today, is that K-pop in general, especially with music videos and concepts, can be pretty random at times. Yeah. Like there can be things that don't necessarily make sense, but as a fan, you accept it, and even though it doesn't make sense, it makes sense to you. I felt this video was very random, even by K-pop standards. I mean, we see these two guys who I'm assuming are Norazo themselves, or maybe one of them is Norazo, the other's a guest, and they're like wearing these wigs that makes them look like 80s or 90s rockers, and they're rocking out and stuff, and we see just all this literally random imagery, like exploding volcanoes and like this this like Middle Eastern imagery of like Shivas and Hindu goddesses and all that, and it was just as appropriate of the initials. It was very WTF to me, but not just Wonderful Treasure Find. I think you catch my drift on what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Admittedly, it's hard for me to really say too much on this video because it literally left me in a state of what the heck did I just watch and listen to?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much going to do it for me. I mean, I don't really know what further input I can offer because that's the impression it left on me. Even after watching it at least like 5 times, I want to say. I have no clue what else to say about it.
Did your riches increase by watching it 5 times?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say, especially considering today, because I watched this about a couple days ago when you first linked it, and since then I'm not sure if I necessarily feel any richer.
Okay.
I mean, I guess if anything, maybe I'm enriched by the fact that we've had Angie as our guest.
Oh, well, thank you.
There we go.
Aside from that, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just I will defer to you, Angie.
Well, there's like so much to say about this music video and song, and so much not to say about it as well. It kind of leaves you speechless. But as you said, that beginning just like really draws you in, and to the point where you feel hypnotized, and it's supposed to be kind of like a mantra.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like mantras work for me sometime. So I don't know, maybe if I listen to the song for a week, I'll have good fortune. I don't know. But it's kind of funny because they're like, listen to this song and you will feel energetic in the morning. It's like, if I listen to this song at night, I'm not going to sleep. You know, like I'm feeling the energy now, not in the morning. I'll probably feel less energetic from not sleeping. It's really interesting because I've heard of this group before, and I'm familiar with some of their other music videos as well. And they kind of do this comical music with, you know, like their songs are comical, their music videos are comical. They like sing about random things. And I haven't been a fan of their other stuff, honestly. And I can't say that I'm a fan of this song, but I feel myself wanting to listen to it more. I feel like this hypnotization is like actually kind of working on me. I don't know. It's kind of scary. I guess because I'm a big rock fan as well. I like metal. And so like those heavy like metal riffs and that like screaming and the like throughout the course of the song, I actually really love that. I wish the song had more of that. But I kind of agree with you. It's like, this is really more of like a WTF, like a real WTF.
And that's their shtick, right? Like that's what they're going for. It's this big gag to get, I think, views, right? So
they have, it's really interesting because you can see the song has closed captioning for parts of the songs, and the parts of the songs that do have the subtitles are like the parts that are supposed to hypnotize you. So there's a part where it's like, this image isn't moving, it's an optical illusion. Yep. And so I'm like, is it moving or is it my imagination? You know, are they just messing with us? Because later on, I'm pretty sure it's moving and it's not an optical illusion. And it kind of makes me question a lot about the music video, and you know, it's kind of gives me that feeling of like, am I going crazy? And I think that's,
or are you just reaching
that's what
enlightenment?
They want. Right, reaching enlightenment. I totally understand what they were going for in this music video, and it's like very clear to me with the Buddhism and the hypnotism and all this other stuff. I was actually reading the comments a bit, and some people were very offended.
I can see that. There's been the recent CL controversy, right?
Right.
MTBD, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so there's a part where there's a Buddha with a pig head, you know, on it. But apparently, I feel bad for the people in the comments because this isn't necessarily a K-pop song. This has more of a Korean audience, and in the comments you can see a lot of Korean comments, and then there's people in the comments that are like, I'm offended, and then there's what you can see might be people from Korea trying to like make them feel better, like, please don't be offended. This is just for fun. But I saw that I guess a pig's head actually means good fortune in Korea. So like the whole song is all about like good fortune, from the visuals to the lyrics to the hypnotism. So it all goes well together. It's just maybe not necessarily my style, and I'm not sure when you would listen to this. Like when do you listen to this song? I just remembered when I would listen to the song. It sounds like a shonen anime opening.
Well, this is where they have the dragon heads, right?
That makes sense now.
If I'm getting ready for an epic battle in my fantasy world, then yes, I would need this song.
Well, I mean, again, this is going along with how absurd it is. It's like, this is supposed to be, you ever see My Big Fat Greek Wedding and the guy's like, whatever the problem is, just put Windex on it, right?
Yeah.
This is the answer to that. It's like, oh, you're going bald? Just listen to the song.
Right.
So we've got imagery of a guy growing armpit hair and then also hair downstairs a little too rapidly. But I don't know. I also looked at a few of the comments on YouTube. I don't think I looked at it as closely as you did, Angie, but people were saying oh, my washing machine was broke. This is a direct translation, so probably losing some in translation. But people were saying, oh, I had cancer, but then I listened to the song and I was cured. And it's like, washing machine was broke, but I just played this a few times and it would fix. So I don't know. I think for that, I can appreciate this song, but it's not to be taken too seriously. And I think it's a fitting WTF, at least for this week.
What's really interesting about this song is how different cultures perceive it, because I saw that a lot of, in addition to the English comments about being offended, I saw that a lot of comments in English were, is this a song about the Illuminati? And I can't picture people in Korea seeing this song and being like, it's Illuminati, So it's really interesting how, people perceive music and music videos, and that's kind of what's so great about YouTube and this kind of stuff coming to an international market. But yeah, it's just so interesting.
Open Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Open Gangnam Style.
Okay, that was it for our WTF section. Let us know what you guys thought. Again, I'm at DJ Peter Lowe. You're at
Supermatic, SOUP.
And
Angie Valerie.
That's right. So give us a tweet. Let us know what you thought. And thank you, Angie, so much for joining us for this episode. I think you're welcome back anytime you want to kick the shits with us. But yeah, it's good to have your perspective, especially on all the industry and knowing these people.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, so thank you so much for having me here, and hopefully I will come back again soon.
Okay. We were very happy to have you, and it would be fun to have you again. Maybe you could just go ahead and be our third co-host anytime.
Yeah. Open Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.